So just give us your reaction to the results that we've seen.
Well, I think the results really right across the country show the country's desperate for change and is supporting Labour to deliver change. We know there's still a lot of work we want to keep doing, but to have that result in Blackpool, which was the only parliamentary result yesterday, that was a really strong swing, more than 20% swing from Conservatives to Labour. And that's now the sixth parliamentary by-election that we've seen swing to Labour. We've also seen really strong Police and Crime Commissioner results winning Cleveland, Avon and Somerset, Norfolk, Cumbria, right across the country, winning on issues around law and order as well. So we're obviously very pleased with the results, but I think what it really shows is the country just needs a general election now. That was the real message of the elections we've had so far.
As you say, there's clearly a lot of bright spots for Labour, whether it's winning mayoralties or council seats, and of course the by-election with that big swing. At the same time, though, the Labour vote in the council elections was pretty much unchanged from last year. I just feel like, week after week we hear you and your shadow cabinet colleagues talking about how terrible the Conservative government is, how they're incompetent, how they're corrupt, how they're breaking the law, how we see them losing seats to just about everyone, but not necessarily going straight to the Labour Party. Do you feel that, for some people, they agree with your message about the Conservatives, but they're just not completely sold on you yet?
Well, the Blackpool by-election shows people swinging directly from Conservatives to Labour. And we've seen that in a series of other by-elections, from Wellingborough to Selby to really right across the country. So we will continue working. We know we need to earn every vote. And we also know that Labour has come a long way. Labour has changed under Keir Starmer's leadership. We have come a long way since the 2019 election, which was a very bad election for us, to now be really earning back that support on issues ranging from crime, neighbourhood policing, the National Health Service, the cost of living, and support for the economy, get our economy back on track. So those are about positive things that Labour is campaigning on, not just the deep frustration that, frankly, everybody does have, that after 14 years, the country feels broken under the Conservatives, and we just can't afford any more of it.
I mean, look, I don't think anyone would disagree that you've made a lot of progress since 2019. But I guess the question is whether we're about to see, a kind of Blair-style majority, the kind of swings that you need, because you need a big swing, in order to get a convincing majority at the next election. And look, with all the usual caveats, people not voting the same way in local and general elections, Sky's projection puts you as the largest party in a parliament, not a majority, if the results are replicated in a general election. Do you think you're on course for a strong majority?
Well, obviously, you're right. The local elections don't translate completely to national elections just because of often you get smaller parties will do better in local elections in smaller wards and so on. But in the end, when it comes to a general election, fundamentally, it is a choice between a Conservative government and a Labour government. Not a single vote has been cast in that general election yet. And that's why our view is we will keep working for every single vote. You've heard Keir Starmer talk about no complacency, but it runs much deeper than that. We really believe we have got to earn every single vote in a general election and set out the desperate changes we need, from crime and policing to the economy. In every area, we badly need change, and that's what we will keep working for.
It also does feel that in some areas of the country, voters have been turning away from the Labour Party because they're unhappy with your stance on Gaza. And I guess there's two ways of looking at that. You either think, look, we believe that we've got the right position, and so we will keep on with what we think is the right thing, no matter if it will upset some of our supporters. Or you think, no, we're in listening mode, we're going to change our position, we're going to listen to what you say. How are you going to respond to that evidence?
Well, we do recognise that Gaza obviously has been a factor in some areas. There have also been areas where it was partly a factor and there were other council factors as well. So it's lots of different things. But undoubtedly, for many people feel really strongly about this, and rightly, because tens of thousands of people have been killed, including the majority of them women and children. We desperately need an immediate ceasefire. We need the hostages released, and we need the urgent humanitarian action that's needed.
Your position, or you're listening and changing, or do you think that you're on the right course already?
So I think we have to recognise the strength of feeling on this issue, and I think we always take the view in the Labour Party that we need to earn every vote, and therefore we have to always listen and reflect. When we lose votes in any area, we always have to listen and
answer there with it. Are you saying that you're going to reflect, but what are you going to change your position, or are you going to keep on doing the same thing?
Well, the position that we've set out, and in some ways, really, these are about international issues that are really far more important than any political party debates, than any of the things that we're talking about, where you have so many lives at risk. We're desperately worried about the risks of a new Rafah offensive. We are desperately hoping for success in the negotiations to get the immediate ceasefire in place. But I think there is also this broader issue about the need to get a long-term peace process on track, which involves a two-state solution that has to include recognition of a Palestinian state, that has to include that two-state solution in order to get any kind of sustainable peace in the Middle East and to prevent more lives being lost. So you look, there's broader debate about what happens in the Middle East, and the desperate action that's needed is going to continue, and we will continue to be part of that debate. And we will also need to reflect on results in all parts of the country in terms of the political situation. The Labour Party will keep working to try and earn every single vote.
There's one other question I do want to ask you, because there's been a few jitters in London. Look, we don't know the result. It's going to be tomorrow. It could be late tomorrow as well. But some suggestion that Susan Hall might be running Sadiq Khan a bit closer than expected. Wes Streeting told me earlier today that he stood by his comments that a vote for her is effectively a vote for white supremacists and racists. Do you agree with him?
I think that we've seen from the Conservatives in London, from Susan Hall, really a very divisive campaigning that is damaging. And what we need is to be able to pull London together, also to be able to pull the whole country together. That's the kind of thing that we need to see.
But is it divisive? Is it divisive to say that a vote for Susan Hall is a vote for racists?
I think it's really important. We've been really clear about the way in which the Conservatives have campaigned in London being divisive and being damaging. And what we need to do is to pull the capital together of the country. I do think that Sadiq Khan has been doing that, and he has been working across different communities across the capital, working immensely hard on everything from London transport to support for children in schools to support for tackling and the reforms that are needed in the Metropolitan Police, where he's been doing an immense amount of work.